All right. I think we're getting this trying to go live here. Going to give it a few minutes for some people to jump on. Hopefully everything is running smooth. As usual, always have a little bit of difficulties with different things that are happening. So as you guys come on, please let me know who you are, where you're watching from, both, if you're watching this live or maybe even watching the replay later on, just let us know so we can kind of get a grip and understand what's going on with this call, and we'll kind of bring you guys up to date. I see we got a couple people jumping on. We'll give it a few more minutes. Well, not actually a few more minutes. We'll give it a few more seconds, and then we'll just go right into the content that I kind of have planned. And we're not doing this on Zoom today, guys, just so you know. Again, just because of the some of the difficulties that we're having with Zoom and Facebook. So today we're going to be just going live on Facebook, and we're going to get the problem addressed. I'm not sure exactly what that's going to mean as far as how this information is going to start coming down to the team, but it will be addressed this week, and we're going to take care of the situation. But some of it's just out of our control. It's just out of the control of with what we have. But again, guys, as you jump on, let me know who you are, where you're watching from, whether this is live, replay. We just want to get a little bit of a grip of what we have and how we can serve all of you better. But let's go ahead and jump right in. And I don't know, for those of you who know me, if you can kind of hear the raspiness of my voice. I'm going to do my best to get through this whole deal without losing my voice, but a lot of things have happened. And for those of you who don't know me, my name's Chad Belanger, Pro 8 out of Covington, Louisiana. And I've been in LifeVantage for a little over 8 years now. And I actually last night, just getting back from Atlantis, we were able to go to the Bahamas along with many of our other elite distributors, as well as some of our corporate members, and just had an amazing time. But of course, there's always that trip home between having a hour and a half delay or so in a plane coming back to Louisiana to my phone. I've never heard of this, but my phone was hacked some kind of way, and items were purchased somewhere and it was linked to my phone, so my provider decided to cut my service off. So I literally took off from North Carolina, had no cell service, when I landed until now, still have no cell service. Don't understand how they can just turn your phone off, but evidently they can, and they did. So I'm waiting to get that phone, and I can tell you right now, the feeling of helplessness when you don't have that cell phone, you see really quickly how much we rely on these cell phones. We rely on technology, and when it's taken from us, it kind of handicaps you really quickly. So with that, what I want to do is kind of go over a couple of things that actually happened in the Bahamas, both to kind of let you guys know how well corporate takes care of us, number one. Also, just to let you know some of the things that I took from that trip, and how it's kind of changed me already this week, and how I'm preparing for this week, some of the things that I'm doing this week, and hopefully can just motivate you guys to possibly do the same, to just kind of evaluate, where your LifeVantage business is right now, where you want it to go, and just get a grasp, guys, of everything that just happened there, because I'm telling you right now, every single person, obviously, that was there came back a little bit different, whether it was from a sunburn, a hacked phone, or I'm just joking, but came back different because, that we always talk about elite academies and these big events and how you can't put, you can't put into words, describe into words what you get at those type of events. Well, obviously, Bahamas is Atlantis is a beautiful place. It's a, they call it a bucket list destination because it's massive. And I'll tell you guys right now, I was on Facebook a little while ago looking at pictures of people that were there and seeing them in pictures at the resort, parts of the resort that I didn't even know exist. The place was that big. It was such an amazing resort. Corporate literally spared no expense with this deal, literally rolling out the red carpet for us from the time you leave to the time you get back. And, that's just one side of it. Obviously, the beauty The fun is really just one side of it, but I have a couple notes here because I want to make sure I don't miss anything. But again, being at that event, you know, it resonated with me again, and just kind of put into my brain again how important these events are. We know they're so important, but guys, I'm telling you right now, we have another incentive trip coming up, the Puerto Vallarta trip, and it reignited me to make sure that I am doing everything possible to get to that next incentive trip, because I don't want to miss. Yeah, I don't want to miss going on the trip, but I don't want to miss what's going to happen on that trip. I don't want to get left behind and feel, you know, that fear of loss, if you will, because not being on those trips, I can promise you, will give me a fear of loss, because I don't know what those conversations are. I don't know what the plans are of the people that are there, and I want to know. I want to know everything that's going on within my business and within the company. So Monday, so we left Monday morning. We arrived there. You get checked in, and it's funny because even the check-in process at the actual resort is fun, because you're running into your family, right? We're running into people that we don't get to see that often outside of maybe the elite academies and some of these larger events. And it's just fun catching up with corporate. They get us checked in. We just kind of hang out that day, sitting by the pool. We have dinners with whoever we wanted to. And then the next day, Tuesday, they actually load us up. And it was and I was about to say a handful. It was literally a few hundred people that they loaded up on these two huge boats, boated us on about a 30-minute boat ride that got us to this private island. And again, just an amazing private island. We were the only people on the island, so they cooked for us. There was an open bar. Some people went lay in hammocks, had these little conversations, got to meet with different team members. But it was absolutely beautiful. That night we had our elite dinner, and I believe, I don't remember the name of the place, but I believe it was at the Poseidon something at the resort. But I just remember walking into this place, and for those of you who have been to like Disney World, let's say, when you walk onto the rides, walking onto those attractions, it's a ride in itself, right? It's an attraction, and that's kind of how walking into this restaurant was. It was absolutely beautiful. It was under the water, so you had all this sea life and different things you can look at. Then the actual meal, again, it was just amazing. It was literally one of the best meals I'd ever had. And again, the company, obviously, getting to talk with some of the Pro 10s, getting to talk with some of our corporate field leadership, and just getting to know them on a different level. It to me, again, was just something that was just an amazing experience. Wednesday, the incentive winners. So everyone that won the incentive portion of that trip started arriving. Again, it was cool to just watch these guys arrive, especially first timers that had maybe never been on a LifeVantage trip. Seeing these guys arrive, the look on their face, hearing their stories of how well taken care of, they were impressed with corporate and how corporate took care of them. Thursday was one of the highlights for me. They actually, again, boated us to another private island called the Blue Lagoon. And this was, I don't know if any of you saw the movie. There was a movie, it just reminded me of the movie called The Cove, which was kind of an older movie, but that's kind of how this island was, where you turned in and literally they drove us through on this boat, all right, coming off of like a big bay through this mountain, this almost a tunnel, if you will, into this big cove, and that's where we got to hang out. So there was dolphin excursions, there was all these different things you can do. They had a huge buffet for us, again, of course, the open bar theme. But again, it was just amazing to be with everybody on that island, and literally as far as you can see in both directions, all LifeVantage. Every single person, all LifeVantage people. So again, I love the fact that everyone had their families, and just getting to know people on a different level. Again, not being able to put that into words. Friday morning, they had the humanitarian project, where they had all the distributors and corporate as well go in and put bags together for all the children in that area that were in need of certain in need of certain things. And everywhere we go, that's one of the highlights of many trips, is going on those humanitarian projects, if you will, and giving back. Because let's face it, a lot of people in this company have a lot. And yes, we've worked very hard to get that, but being able to give back to the community on the bus ride back, some of the bus drivers were commenting on how impressed they were with the company, with LifeVantage, and what they were able to do for the kids in that area. So that was something that was really cool to hear about and actually see. Let's see, Friday. Oh, and that night, can't believe I was about to forget that. That night was a really fun time. LifeVantage actually rented out I believe it's called the Aurora Lounge, or one of the big clubs that they have there. So from 8 to 10:30, I believe, again, you had this huge dance club, all LifeVantage, every single person in it, and it was packed out. There was at least 500 to 600 people, I believe. I heard one of the numbers in this club. So again, just a different level, a different way to meet people, to hear their stories, to just meet people that you wouldn't typically get to meet. And that was obviously a very fun time that we had. Saturday, again, I think every day was a highlight for me. Saturday was the volleyball tournament, and it was a big deal. I think that was one of the biggest things for me, is when I arrived there Monday, I couldn't wait till Saturday, only because of that volleyball game. And again, the point I'm trying to make is, again, corporate rented out the whole pool, turned it into a pool volleyball arena, and it was just so cool to see the pool. It was an Olympic swimming pool, I guess you could say, a lap pool. Have all the distributors lined up completely around the entire pool. They had a DJ playing the entire time. Literally everybody sat by that pool almost the entire day, and just having those conversations with people again. And that was kind of the whole theme of the whole trip, is just getting to talk to people and hear their stories and learn from people that you may not get in an elite academy setting, because everybody is so busy. Everybody has so many different plans, where here it's more of a relaxed atmosphere. So that was fun. The moral of that story, I guess, is corporate didn't win. A distributor team that I was not a part of was able to beat corporate, and that was the big deal. And it was a lot of fun, guys. Just the camaraderie, the taunting, if you will. Justin Rose, one of the things he said after the game, he said, and again, jokingly, that he never met a group of people that was more, sarcastic than this group, in a good way, because of the way we were taunting and just that sportsmanship. And it was just a really, really good time. So that night we had our farewell dinner, if you will. And they brought in some local entertainment. And again, if you've been on Facebook lately, I don't think you could have not seen some of the pictures or videos. And it was just an amazing trip, guys. All around amazing trip. It's almost what we expect every year, from a distributor standpoint. We don't know how corporate's going to top the next year, but they do. They always seem to find a way to step it up a notch. And again, they came, they delivered, amazing trip. So that was kind of what happened on that trip. One of the things I wanted to mention too about the whole trip was what it did for me personally and building belief. And guys, I can tell you right now, my belief in this company is extremely high. I don't care, both from my why standpoint, as well as what I want out of this company, as well as what I've got from LifeVantage so far. My belief is extremely high. But to go to an event like that, I actually left with my belief even higher, because of those conversations that I had, because of the things that I seen in person, that was not only happening there, but again, just meeting individuals that, I don't get to have those conversations with. It just built my belief even more in LifeVantage. And the biggest thing, again, that I like to incorporate with belief is to just be you. And again, because of that setting, because of everybody in more of a relaxed setting, everybody was themselves. Everybody was just there to have fun, but also do whatever necessary to help each other build our businesses. But that's what, my message today is, a lot of times we may find ourselves letting rank, letting our paycheck size, letting different external factors change how we talk about this opportunity, kind of, dictate how we approach people. And many times after being in the company for a short while, I'd say maybe we're not the same. Maybe we've kind of changed the way that we're, introducing this to people. And, I guess that could go either way. I guess that could be a good thing or a bad thing. But I think a lot of times many of us try to be so perfect. We try to let all these, again, external factors change who we are. And you can't do that, right? Because we're always worried about, well, we don't want to feel like we're selling to our friends. We don't want to come off as spammy, where we're putting all this stuff out to people. And you guys probably understand where I'm trying to go with this. And so that's the biggest thing I took away too, is to really kind of evaluate in that we had so many different personalities there, people from different countries, all these different backgrounds, and just hearing their stories of what they did, to get to where they are, and just hearing the realness, I believe. Not necessarily the professionalism, or not how they were dressed or how well they spoke. That didn't necessarily impress me as much as hearing those background stories, as almost losing their home or never being able to afford a trip like that. Guys, I can tell you right now, I was in that boat. We had a pretty successful company, traditional wise, and traditional business before LifeVantage. But to say that I would have been able to take my family on a 7-day trip to Atlantis in the Bahamas, I don't know. That's a big deal. So again, hearing other individuals come up on stage and actually say that at the event just kind of made me shrink back a little bit and just evaluate me and just look at exactly what I'm doing right now, the way that I'm introducing this company to people. Another thing I heard at one of the meetings, and this is something I want to be sure, I wrote it down because I want to be sure that every single person in Team True Blue knows this. Darren Jensen, okay, our CEO, was announcing who had the most growth in March, because March was one of the largest growth months of the company, okay? Funny, but I don't remember second and third place. I guess that's usually how it goes. But I do remember first place, Team True Blue. Team True Blue had right at 56% growth in March over February. So guys, I'm telling you that right now because of this. A team that you are a part of, a system that, this team has incorporated and put into place for all of us, had the largest growth in the month of March. Guys, again, use that in a couple different ways. Use that to congratulate everyone, obviously, that had some growth that contributed to that, but also use it, I guess you can say a fear of loss, but use that as a motivating tool, because if you didn't contribute to that growth, or maybe your business didn't see that type of growth, guys, plug in right now. I can tell you right now, there's so many tools that we have in place right now that are not being utilized. There's so many things that we can do personally to get that same growth. The difference is there are individuals that are making it happen, and there are individuals that are watching it happen. And you get to decide what category you're in, right? You get to decide if you're going to watch it and say how awesome it is, say you were there in the beginning, or you're going to be the one that's plugging away at this thing, that's always adding people to the different Facebook groups, that's still doing home meetings, that's doing Facebook Lives, doing all the things that we know we should be doing. I know sitting on the plane, that was one of the things I did, is I actually started writing names down. Again, guys, 8.5 years, right at 8.5 years I've been in the company. I sat on that plane ride and started writing more names. I started already this morning contacting a couple of those individuals and planning to meet with them personally. A couple of them were actually a couple hours away, but I'm already setting up meetings with them right now because of what I took away from that incentive trip, because of what I saw, in the room and outside in the pool, wherever it was, individuals that are having that growth. The fact that I'm part of a team that grew 56%. I'll tell you guys right now, my personal business did not grow 56%, obviously, and I want it. I want it really, really bad. I'm part of a team that's growing that way. I should be contributing to that also. So that was just, again, just a self-evaluation for me. Meeting some of the leadership And I'll say leadership in the industry, not necessarily leadership from a LifeVantage standpoint, but I personally got to meet a lot of individuals that have been in network marketing for years. And again, I know we hear the stories, we read the different things, we see them on Facebook, but to meet these individuals in person that have been in the industry for years and years and years, company to company to company, big time successful network marketers. But to hear them tell me and ask me, hey, how long have you been in LifeVantage, Chad? For me to say, 8 years, my first time doing, network marketing, to just see the look in their eyes and then know how real it is, that they're just like, they can't believe this is our first time. They can't believe that we were, I guess, I don't want to say lucky enough, but fortunate enough to find this company our first go around. To hear them say all the things that they did in their past and in their career in network marketing. Again, some of these guys, huge, huge network marketers, but to be so excited to come to LifeVantage and call this their home now. To call this their legacy company, if you will, that this is it for them. Their plans are to come to LifeVantage and build this thing one more time and then sit back. Then feel confident enough that their families, their generations down from them are going to benefit from this company right here, right now. So that was something that really, really impressed upon me. And it just helps me evaluate, is that how I feel? I truly do feel like this is an amazing company. This is something I love network marketing. I love the industry. I love what we've been able to do here. I don't want to have to go ever go and do it again and start completely over. But hearing them again tell me how big of a deal it is to be part of this company, it just rejuvenated me even more. It just elevated, my belief in exactly what I want out of LifeVantage so much more. So again, how do you feel about that? Do you really believe this is it? Do you really believe you can do it? And that's something that we have to really evaluate. Do you have the belief, not necessarily in LifeVantage or the products that we have, but do you have that belief in yourself? And I think a lot of times, again, we tend to slow ourselves down because, I can tell you guys right now, the system that's in place, we're living proof of it. We are absolute living proof of it. Never did network marketing before, like I mentioned, to come in a very short time frame, within a couple years, replace an income that took me over 13 and a half years to get to, and now for the last 6.5 years or so, working LifeVantage full time, changing my life forever, changing my kids' life. That was another part of the conversations that we had while we were sitting on the beach, is looking at the individuals that brought their children, especially those that have been in a company for a while, and just looking at those kids and just saying those kids have no idea. All they know is mom and dad's home every day. All they know is mom and dad get to go on these amazing trips and bring their families with all these other families. And again, it's just something that if they can all do it with all those different backgrounds, why can't you? Why can't you be the one on, at the next incentive trip with your family, sitting on the beach or wherever that next one may be, right? Why can't you be that person? And again, the biggest thing is you have individuals that are following the system, that are plugging away, that are doing everything that Team True Blue has in place right now, like Launch 60, let's say. I can tell you guys right now, if your business is not where you want it, Launch 60 could be an answer because of the system that it follows. It's not a launch call. Again, so many individuals have done launch calls. That's not Launch 60. And you're going to continue to hear that because individuals that go through the entire Launch 60 program, they're Pro 2s, Pro 3s, Pro 4s, or they're that next rank that they want it to be. It's because of that exposure. The Getting Started checklist that we have right now on our website on Team True Blue. Again, so many individuals have not gone to that website, printed out those documents, went through it. They're not showing it to their teams. It's just something that those little bitty steps, they just continue to slow us down a little bit. Maybe that little bit of discouragement creeps in because we were so close to winning that triple. We were so close to hitting that next rank, and maybe we didn't get it. And now we're just kind of, a little bit discouraged. Guys, evaluate your efforts right now. Look at exactly what you want out of this, right? We always talk about our why, but I also think what you want is super important. You have to know what you want, because many of us come into LifeVantage, you know, and I think the reason why many of us sign up to do the business is we want something, you know, monetarily, let's say, whether it's retirement, time, freedom, more time, whatever. But we you know, come in this thing for our business. But if you truly evaluate your efforts, right? Whether if you're wanting retirement or time freedom, evaluate your personal efforts. No one else. No one else. Evaluate your efforts and what you're doing to build your business. And again, most of us, at least I did, I didn't like my job in traditional business. I wanted to do anything but that. But I was also very fortunate to have that career, okay? But I didn't enjoy it. I didn't like it. I wanted to do something else. When I saw LifeVantage as a way out, let's say, because that wasn't in the beginning, but once I saw it as a way out, you know, my expectations got really big. What I wanted out of this company got really, really big. But one thing we can do is kind of compare that, if you will. Whether you love your current job right now, whether you hate it, most of us don't want to wake up to the alarm Monday morning, right? Today's Monday. We don't want to wake up and go to that job, let's say. We would much rather be on that incentive trip or not having to worry about going to work today, sit in traffic or whatever. But if you evaluate your efforts, so look at your real job right now, and if you work that real job, some of you may have heard me say this before, if you work the real job right now that most of us don't like, if you put the same effort into that job as to what you're putting in the LifeVantage, would you have a job Monday morning? This morning when you went to work, would you even have a job? If you put the same effort that you're building retirement, that you're building your time freedom, whatever it is you want out of LifeVantage, would you have a job? And guys, let's face it, most of us would be fired, right? Because we know at our real job what we're expected to do. We know we have to perform to this level. We have these, you know, different tasks that we have to do every day. If you don't, you get fired. Well, obviously with LifeVantage, you won't get fired. Nothing's really going to happen to you other than you won't achieve your goals. But I promise you guys, if you put forth that same effort, if you have it maybe documented, I don't know what it takes for you. If it takes writing down these goals, writing down your week, if you will, as far as what you're going to do, calling this many people, starting the Launch 60 program, printing the Get Started checklist and going through it with not only yourself, but maybe some of your distributors. But really evaluate the efforts that you have right now, because we all know the importance of duplication, right? We hear that over and over and over. What you do is going to duplicate, good and bad, especially the bad. The bad's going to duplicate a lot quicker, right? So again, use that maybe as a self-evaluation. That's what I love to do that, because it just kind of makes it about me when I'm doing self-evaluations, let's say. But let's say last weekend, so this past Sunday and Saturday and Sunday, would you want whatever you did to LifeVantage, whatever you did in LifeVantage this past Saturday and Sunday, would you want that evaluated in your organization? Meaning, if you have 4 people or 400 people, would you want them to do what you did last weekend? And if the answer is yes, awesome. Keep doing what you're doing. Do it more. You know, that's great. If it's not, let's go back maybe. Let's go last week. Whatever you did all of last week, how many calls you made, how many people you invited, how many Facebook Lives you did, how many Zoom presentations, how many home presentations. Would you want your efforts all of last week duplicated this weekend to your group? Again, if the answer is no or not really, or well, I could have did more, guys, plan it out today. Get it done today. Whatever avenue you need to use, do not let this pass you by, because I can promise you there was about 700 individuals in Atlantis that's not going to let them pass this by. People that are just on another level as far as experience in the industry, that are just looking at this company right now just going, oh my goodness, do you guys realize what you're a part of? Do you guys realize I've been looking for this forever? And they're here. They're in your company right now, and they're going to get eventually, they're going to get into your database. They will, right? Because they know so many people. Eventually, it's going to get into your database. So, guys, it's important for us to stay up to speed, not only with LifeVantage, stay up to speed with this, with our team, with Team True Blue, whether it be on the website, on Facebook, again, whatever avenue you're using, don't let this thing pass you by. We keep hearing it's coming, it's here, you know, don't miss the wave. Guys, I think the wave is taking off. I really think the wave is already on its way. Some of us are paddling, some of us are riding the wave, some of us have already floated down the backside of that wave. The beauty of it is this: we still have a massive opportunity. If you just look at the timing of this company, the fact that we're a $200 million a year company right now, how many people even know about this? We still have time on our side, but I don't think it's going to be much longer. I really don't think it's going to be much longer, just because of the individuals that I personally met this past week in Atlantis. They're not going to wait. I'm pretty confident in saying they're not going to wait. So one of the things we can do is be sure that we're up to date with Big Blue Calendar right now. I wanted to make sure that everyone is aware that we have the motorhome tour right now that Pro 9 Fred Graves has kind of put together. I think their first night actually is going to be tonight in Orlando. And I was actually looking on Facebook just a short while ago. There's going to be 6 Pro 10s. So if you're anywhere near Orlando, Florida, 6 Pro 10s are going to be there, as well as Justin Rose. You're going to have Pro 9 Fred Graves, Pro 8 Tim Cox. So you're going to have an amazing lineup of people. You know, that's basically a mini elite academy, if you will. But go on Big Blue Calendar and look at exactly where this tour is going. So tonight they're going to be in Orlando, May 8th, Atlanta, May 9th, Nashville, May 10th, South Bend, and then on the 14th they're going to be in Sioux Falls. So that basically takes care of this week. Then there's a whole another week. I believe they're driving over 5,000 miles and hitting multiple cities. They're going to have multiple elite distributors at every location, as well as different individuals from our corporate office. And I can just tell you guys, again, from personal experience, I've been a part of a lot of those, or actually a couple of the motorhome tours, and they're fun. The atmosphere that you get at that motorhome tour, you know, it's a networking event. So you're bringing guests, you're bringing individuals that have maybe been on a 3-way phone call, people that have maybe tried the products, and now they're getting this, to get a strong taste of the culture of this company. The fact that you even have someone, I'll just use Fred as an example, that can just get in his motorhome after being in Atlantis for a week, get in his motorhome for another week, and literally drive around the country to go build this business, to go help you build your business for the next 2 weeks, actually. Okay, that's almost an entire month if you think about it. Atlantis for a week and then a 2-week bus tour. Guys, I don't know many people outside of this company that can do something like that. And again, we have an individual that's part of this team. We have multiple individuals that are going to be on that tour together. So don't miss it. Go on Big Blue Calendar, get registered. There's all kind of things happening right now, guys. But again, be a part of all that stuff. Because if you're just showing up at the events, which is great, someone else is controlling your business. Be a part of organizing some type of event for you and your team. Then you're in control of your business. So again, guys, thanks for jumping on. We're going to have this thing hopefully dialed in this week, as far as it may even be back to a phone call. I've heard talks of a podcast. I don't know, but what I do know is the information is going to get out. So you have to be in control of your business, if you will, and make sure you're getting the information and then getting it to your teams. It will be posted on all the different websites and Facebook groups. But be ready, guys, because I can promise you every single individual that's getting back from the Bahamas right now is on a different level. You have to be. You can't go to an event like that and come back the same person. So thanks for getting on, guys. Go out and make this week happen. I know we're going to have a massively productive month, but start today. Have a productive day with LifeVantage, and just don't stop, guys, because again, our databases are more closely connected than what you probably think, and you show up to any type of large event and we can see that. We see individuals that we maybe wish we would have called or contacted, only to find out they're with someone else. So don't let that happen, guys. Don't be that person. So with that, we'll go ahead and end this one, and look forward to hearing some success stories from everyone. So you guys have a good day.